Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are honored to have on our next guest, the owner of Shamanic Twist Institute and Wellness Center based out of Utah. Dannielle Bryan joins us here live today to talk more about the work she's doing and how she's helping people with shamanic energy healing sessions and so much more. So first and foremost, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Same here. And where are you hailing from specifically?
Camas, Utah, which is about 20 minutes east of Park City, Utah.
Beautiful. So
Yeah.
what's the weather like out there right now?
It's cold. We got our first snow and it's sticking a little bit. So this is probably it. We're full on. We're in winter now.
Oh, well,
Yep.
I'm dying to go visit Utah. I've never been yet, but I hear it's
Oh,
gorgeous there.
it is.
And yeah, so that, is a lot for someone's well-being, right? You
Yes.
want to keep well, and this is what your life is about. You say, live the life your soul is craving. Do you feel
Yeah.
pulled towards something more, but unsure how to access it? Well, go to shamanictwist.com. And also, do you have a phone number you want to share with us?
Sure. 435-640-8939. And that's my number. You'll reach me that way.
Perfect. Before we get into specifics about all the services you offer, I want to find out more about you. So,
Mhm.
share a little bit of your background, where you grew up, and what inspired you here along the way.
Yeah, I grew up in Massachusetts actually, and by way of Montana, lived in Montana for a year. I went to massage school. I knew pretty early on that I wanted to go into the healing arts and went to massage school that was really heavy on alternative healing. We learned a lot about energy fields, energy bodies, chakras, and of course, all the massage things that we need. And then moved to Park City, Utah in 2000 and had been doing massage. And then a good friend of mine was studying with the Four Winds Society. That's who I did my shamanic training with. And wasn't really looking for it. Was always intuitive, always had impressions of what was going on with people, but didn't have the skill set of how to actually make that effective and to be a healing practice. So it's not helpful to just get a whole bunch of information and then say, hey, you got a whole bunch of trauma stuck in your body. Good luck. I
Yeah.
can work through that. Right. So was looking for something. And then lo and behold, was hired to do massage for the Four Winds. They canceled the retreat. They said, we've got a class. Why don't you just take
Oh,
this
wow.
class? And then, yeah, 3 days into it, I was like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. So, I mean, really the rest is in that old cliche version. History, that was 2005 and that has been it. This is what I've been doing ever since.
All right.
So,
And for people out there who may not even know what it is you do with shamanic
yeah,
energy healing, explain it to us if you don't mind.
yeah.
Break it down.
So shamanic, so energy healing is vast. There's a lot of different kinds of energy healing. The one that is most notable that people understand or hear is Reiki. A lot of people say, is it
Yes.
Reiki?
Mm-hmm.
It's not Reiki. Reiki is its own lineage. So in the world of shamanism, there are many different kinds of shamanic paths. There's North American, South American, African, Mongolian, Celtic, Aboriginal. So many, many different kinds of shamanic paths that you can study. Mine is rooted in Peru, in South America specifically. So what we do when I'm working with a client, we chat about 20 minutes or so. What's happening? What's going on in your life? What are you wanting help with? And then when they get on the table, my skill set is that I can track and see energy. Tracking energy means reading or intuiting. So I can track and see energy. I can see where the bind is. I can see what's caught based on what they're coming in and asking for help with. We work at the subconscious level, the conscious level, and we actually work at the superconscious level. So we're looking at like what is available, what's open for you to align with. But within a session, we work through the chakra system. That becomes the entry point into a person's field. And then we're looking at what are the old patterns? What's the belief system here? What are some old wounds or traumas that are still actually etched in a person's field that create the responses or the patterns? We can do things like soul retrieval, destiny retrieval, extraction work. A lot of times we're carrying energy that's not ours. We can work with clearing cords. So within a session, there's many different kinds of things that can happen, but all for that place of saying, okay, what's not working and where are you heading? And really, that's the most interesting thing, right, Jill? We want to go where we're desiring to go.
Guided to,
So, yeah.
yes. Well, are these sessions only done in person or do you do this virtually as well?
Virtually, yeah.
Amazing.
Because there's no time and space with energy, I
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of virtual sessions via Zoom or phone, doesn't matter. And we connect, we chat, it runs the same exact way, talk about what's going on. And then I connect with a person's field, call their energy field into my treatment room, and then the whole process begins as if they were there. And it's amazing. It's amazing what people will sense and feel, how I can sense and feel what's happening. I mean, I can feel when things are caught in the physical body,
Ooh.
when there's pain or discomfort,
Mm-hmm.
all through remote session work. So yeah, it's not a local thing necessarily. So I work with a lot of people all over the country.
Beautiful. And I know you teach this 10-month personal development course. It's called the
Yeah.
Medicine Wheel Transformation Program. Could you share a little bit about this and what that entails?
So it's rooted in Andean shamanism. We meet 4 times a year for 4 days. So it's an intensive weekend when we get together. And we're using the medicine wheel as the map. So the 4 directions, south, west, north, east, and each direction has something that we focus on. And we focus in the south on our history coming into right relationship with our life story, what has taken place. In the West, we look at our family stories, genetics, limiting beliefs, and shadow work. What are those places that are out of alignment? Bring them into alignment. The North is clearing our identifications. What have we identified with that is not who we are? Who we are is our soul nature. That's who we are. Everything that we do is what we do. And so we start to look at this place of I am not my job, but I can be aligned with my work and be super passionate about it. But if that job was to go away, I don't cease to exist, right? The whole like identity crisis that can happen. And then in the East, we pop the whole thing up and we're looking at that place of being the visionary and looking at this place of transcending what we've just come through over the last 10 months. And you build, actually, I have it right here. You build a mesa or a medicine bundle, and it consists of stones that we work with. And this in Peru, the Pacos or the healers, they work with their mesas. It's the healing bundle that becomes your own personal altar, becomes something that you get to work with as you're continuing to navigate life. So the medicine wheel is a deep, deep dive into looking at our life, our patterns, our stories, but then weaving in the shamanic principles and practices. We work and learn how to do different kinds of meditation, how to journey, work with fire ceremony, work with soul retrieval, work with these tools that are specifically in the shamanic realm, if we're calling it and labeling it something. So, yeah, and it's personal development. And then I have a practitioner training course that I do, and that's great, but you need to go through Medicine Wheel to then actually learn the skill set of how you're going to work with clients. Yeah.
Oh, all right. And speaking of working with clients, read some great reviews on the website. One in particular says, Kathleen Barlow, I started working with Dannielle. By the way, Dannielle has 2 N's in it. I love that she's uniquely special. One-on-one, and she helped me work through my past trauma, which allowed me to move forward in my new business with confidence and passion to be who I am and grow my business from scratch. My business is now exactly how I want it to be and growing steadily every month. And, these are some of the things that you're helping people with. I would love to hear some more client experiences as well. And I know it's physical issues, it's health, right?
Yeah.
There's so much. So I'll let you take the stage. Go ahead.
um, let's see, there's like, this should be easy to answer. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my
No,
gosh, there's so
no.
many. All right. So there was this woman who I worked with that was at this place of where is she going to go? What does she want to do? And in one of our classes, actually in the East class, which is the last of the 4, we do this journey called a destiny journey, where you track out this timeline to see
Okay.
what's possible for me, what's coming in. And so we did this journey. She came back and she said, I saw myself presenting to people with a boa and a hat on,
What?
and she's a sommelier, so she works with wine.
Okay.
And she wasn't sure where she was going, what her business was going to be. And coming out of that class and recognizing, like, okay, I love wine. I love to entertain. I love to educate. She created, and actually, this is huge in Park City. She created this tour company called
Wow.
um, Minds and Wines. And it's a
Oh,
history tour of Park City with a side of wine.
oh
So,
my
and
gosh.
she works with huge, huge groups. I mean, big name groups who come in and book her tours. So this was back in 2017 that she was in my classes. And today she has this booming Minds and Wines tour company. And then she just expanded into Salt Lake. And so it's things like that. Then I've had clients who come in with health issues that it's like, I've been to the doctors, I don't know what's happening. Nobody can help me with what's going on. And I had this one client who had this interesting platelet condition going on. And in the world of energy healing, we can carry energy that is not ours. That we are sensitive, energetic beings, and we will absorb and pick things up. And she was carrying a bunch of energy that was not hers. We did the extraction work. We did 3 sessions together and did extraction work, and her platelet condition reversed itself. It phased
Wow.
out. So there's times when we're looking at what's happening, and the physical is the expression of what is laid down in our multidimensional field. So it probably originated as an imprint or energy that was out of balance in the field before it actually made itself all the way into physical manifestation.
Wow.
So there's a lot of times where we have to go back and look and say, okay, so what was happening at the origin of this condition? What was going on in your life at this time? Well, I had this big thing happen. I had this big trauma take place, or this big split in my life, or this big life choice that I made. And that will become the point where energy lays down in the field. And then, depending on the whole context of things, it begins to inform
Okay.
and coalesce. So the energy gets
Wow.
denser and denser. So our field is like a two-way information system. So we can have things that start in the body that then start to inform and lay down in the field. That's where trauma comes in. Like something happens, and then it actually gets etched in the multidimensional field. Or we can
Amazing.
go through something that gets etched in the multidimensional field first, and then it begins to download the density, and then it will begin to express or show up in the physical body. So we want to start to look at things like, I'm active, I ski, I mountain bike,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a big crash on the ski hill
Wow.
years ago. And it's shocking. You crash, it hurts,
Oh
it's
my
shocking, it's
gosh.
shocking to the system. I didn't get really,
Oh,
really hurt, just,
okay.
just to crash. And then the next
Ah.
time I skied down that same run, it was firing, right?
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh God, oh, I remember last time I was here and I skied and I fell and it hurt. And that's where, when we have a physical incident that happens, it will lay down in the field as a memory, and then it becomes an imprint. Now I'm giving you a really minor example, right? But this is how those repeating patterns work, or those trauma responses work. So something physical happens, it etches in the field like a scratch on a CD. And so it can go dormant. And then when we put ourselves back in a situation, or we find ourselves in a situation that's similar, then that thing activates. And once it activates, it hijacks the whole central nervous system. And then we go into this place of any number of things. In my case with the skiing, I was like, oh God, I don't want to fall again. And so
Yeah.
I had to override that place and be like, that was then, this is not today.
Uh-huh. Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
then go in and start to do that energy work of clearing those imprints out of our field, so that we don't just loop into those old patterns. And obviously on the spectrum, we have these minor things, and then there's obviously much bigger situations that have different degrees when they get activated.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And hold on, I gotta ask. You said that what about in Peru? What happens there?
Hmm.
There's some holy work that you do, and could you share a little bit about that? I know I forgot to ask you about that too. There's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. So Peru, so I take groups down to Peru every year. We do a retreat down in
So
the
cool.
Sacred Valley.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. So we meet up in Cusco, we head down to Urubamba in the Sacred Valley. We visit the different sacred sites. I mean, there's several, so we visit a handful within the week that we're there. Of course, Machu Picchu is one of
Yeah.
them. And then we will, for people who want to stay on, we'll go for a mountain trek. If people are up for an adventure, it's usually an overnight camping expedition. And being in Peru is a beautiful experience. We work with the Pacos, the medicine men and women. We do ceremonies. So it's not just your typical go on a sightseeing tour. And
Okay.
it doesn't have to be people who are clients or students. This is open to anybody. But we take time to really connect. One of the things in the shamanic path is realizing that we are connected to all of the nature spirits. We're connected to the land, to the trees, to the water. We can go into those places of being able to have active communication and dialogue. So we take time at each of these sites to come into a meditative place, to connect with the wisdom of the land. I mean, let's think about Peru and let's think about the history. And in our country has it as well. All countries have it,
Yeah.
right? What's been going on long before we're in our current day. And I mean, for me personally, Peru is the homeland of the path that I've been studying for 20 years. So as we go to these different sites, we take time to really connect and tune into like, what is the wisdom of this land? What has gone on? What has been held here? And what is available for us to receive from that place of connection, of meditating with the land
Mm-hmm.
itself at these sacred sites. And so it's a beautiful experience, and there's time for fun, there's downtime, there's a
Yeah.
little spa at Wilcatica where we stay. Where we stay in Urubamba is stunning. Wilcatica Retreat Center. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Yeah.
And what time of year do you go?
This year we're going in June. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
we're going in June and we'll be down there for 2 weeks. We work with um, different ceremonies in the front end and then what we call the Pachamama tour. So Pachamama is the name for Mother Earth. So we go to the different sites and then we'll continue on to hike. This year we're going to hike Choque Corral, which is the sister city to Machu Picchu. So Machu Picchu, the big ancient citadel that everybody is well aware of, and then Choque Corral is another citadel city that has
Wow.
just as much archaeological sites as Machu Picchu, but they haven't all been excavated yet. So we're going to do a
Oh
4-night,
my
5-day
goodness.
hiking expedition on
Oh,
Choque.
that is so amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Also, I just want to remind everyone all the ways we can contact you at this time. Could you share the website again, phone number, social media pages?
Mhm. Yeah. Shamanictwist.com is the
Okay.
website. My contact, 435-640-8939. And
Perfect.
email Dannielle at shamanictwist.com, Dannielle with 2 N's. And social media, I'm Shamanic Institute on TikTok, shamanic_twist on Instagram and Facebook.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, what else do you want to share about the work you're doing and all these private sessions that you can help with?
Yeah, private
Yeah.
sessions, our classes. Our next medicine wheel starts in February.
Okay.
And that's in Utah in person or Zoom. You can Zoom into the classes. So we open it up so that it's available for people who can't travel, don't want to travel, whatever that might be. And then this year, first time ever, we are offering an online only medicine wheel. So the version that I offer where you can Zoom in is a hybrid, and it's just a different dynamic. But when it's just online, there's a different focus for the online group. We're not split between computer and in classrooms. So That's gonna start in April this year. So all those dates are on the website. So
Oh my goodness, exciting. And now there's so many other people that can benefit and different things that people can benefit from this energy medicine, right? Did you
yeah.
want to talk about more examples of that? I mean, there's a lot more in your notes, if you want to talk about, shamanic practitioner, how you got your
Mhm, mhm.
start, but just want to make sure we're covering everything that's important to you for today.
Yeah. One of the things in this path is we all have stuff that we can work with that's taken place in our life, right? We all have those places we can look and say, yeah, there's a little scar tissue there. I have some repeating patterns or some fears that show up. And that is important. That's what we do is we clear all that out of the way. We say, yeah, okay, we're human. We've lived enough life to have
Yeah.
accumulated some things. So what is it? What can we learn from it? And how do we move the debris out of the way so that we can get on with living and creating the life that we desire, that is in alignment with us? And that can be events that have taken place. It can be physical stuff, and it can be spiritual crisis. Those are those challenges that drive people in a lot of times,
Yeah.
those pain
Mm-hmm.
points. But sometimes it's just like, hey, my life is pretty good, but I know that I want to move into a more intentional creation of something. And that too is something to come in and work with. We can say, okay, great, where are you going? Now let's
Yeah.
make sure that you're in alignment and that you have the ability to create something that's sustainable, not just like an egoic good idea. And I'm a fan of the ego. I'm not one of those. I don't live in this realm where it's like ego is bad, we have to get rid of it. It's like the ego is the personal expression and it's necessary, and we want it to be in service to the soul instead of running the show, right?
Yeah.
So we can look at what it can, something that can drive you in can be like, what more do I want in my life? It doesn't just have to be pain points. And the other thing, Jill, is that we work with kids. We've
Yeah.
created an
Oh,
youth program, and
what ages?
we work with 11 to 13 as one group, and then 14 to 17 or 18, kind of, there's that cusp sometimes in there as the second group. And then I've had 18, 19, 20-year-olds in my medicine wheel classes. And so I totally welcome, kids who feel like, yeah, I can sit in a room of adults and hold my own, and I'm interested and ready to explore. So we've had young adults in our classes, and then we offer mentorship programs and group work with those ages. And we're just starting to get those up and ready also for Zoom so that we can work with kids in that way, and it doesn't, Utah doesn't have to be the barrier to not participate. So this was something I've been passionate about for a long time. And we have our director, Abby Prost, who's wonderful. And so we have our youth programs that we launched a little over a year ago.
Oh my goodness, amazing. Well, clearly you're passionate about the work you do. You love doing what you do. Is there any like package sessions that people should be aware of? The holidays are coming up. Is there anything like that that you want to promote to let people know they should try you out if they haven't?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Typically 3 to 5 sessions is what really helps people move through a big thing if we're just working one-on-one, if it's not weaving into the longer classes and things like that. And we are going to be having a Black Friday special. So you can go to our website, you can sign up to be on our newsletter, and we're going to be offering some great packages for classes and for sessions on Black Friday. Uh,
Yay.
yeah, so, and then we have a 21-day meditation series that I taught, and that is recorded. That's something that you can just have instant access to as well. So.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And one more time, remind us how we can contact you. And unfortunately, we're out of time. How did you want to leave off? I know there was a quote in your note as well.
Oh, I think it was, it doesn't matter what you do until you love and accept yourself. And once you love and accept yourself, it doesn't matter what you do. Charlie
Got it.
H. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Shamanictwist.com, best place to find us. All
All
our
right. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed the beautiful snowy weather. I'm excited to think about that. It's chilly in New York today. It's like 50 something. We're like, whoa, it's cold. So we're getting there soon. I pray for some snow though, but beautiful. And again, I know you're based out of Utah and people can work with you anywhere around the world, which is exciting,
Anywhere around
right?
the world. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Jill.
You have a fantastic day. Looking forward to getting in touch with you again soon and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks to all of our listeners and viewers. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.